Cuts it back 5. Touchdown, Breakers.
Water. Make sure you stay hydrated, man. All right. This team, man, 4 games in a row, 4-0, and then you drop 3 games, you fall to 4-3, and then you win 3 in a row and finish 7-3. This team is weird, man. They're weird, but they're fun. You can't lie. This team is fun, man. They do it. They find ways to win games. Breakers finish 7-3. We were able to win, not have to worry about if this team wins, do we get in and blah, blah, blah. Even though we would have got in anyway because Michigan somehow won. I don't know what happened to Philadelphia, man. But anyway, we're 7-3. We're in the playoffs. We got Birmingham again. We were able to beat Houston, like, you guys already know that, 17-10. We took care of business. Houston made some silly mistakes that cost them the game, and that was really the difference. And that was one of the things I talked about in my offensive keys to victory was, limit turnovers and, capitalize also on their dumb mistakes. And I think we pretty much did that. So, defense did their thing, man. So, like I said, now we move on to Birmingham playoffs. Birmingham versus New Orleans, part 3, man. I called it the Mardi Gras Bowl, but a lot of people didn't really like that. Whatever. I might stick with it. I might try something. I don't know. Anyway, it's a big game. It's the bigger game of the weekend. Don't get me wrong. Like, Michigan and Pittsburgh is going to be fun just because I don't know what to expect, especially Michigan's got a new quarterback. But, this is the game. 8-2 versus 7-3. They've played each other 6 times. That's the most played game in the modern era. There's so much. I know they've beaten us, 4 out of 5 times so far. But, every game's been competitive. And week 3, we beat them 45-31. And then this past time we played, it was 24-20. We had the ball late in the game. We weren't able to score. So, it's been the best rivalry, man. And it feels like Bama LSU. It really does. I've said that so many times. It just does. And, it's going to be exciting, man. I can't wait. I'm praying that we can win this game. I want this one so bad, man. All right. Let's get into some players to watch for this game. You guys know what's going on. All right. McLeod Bethel-Thompson. He's going to have a big game, but also a smart game. Limit turnovers. Basically, if he can have a game like last week, 74% completion percentage, nearly 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He's going to have one of those type of games if we're going to win. So, McLeod, he's going to have to do the right things, make the right plays, the right reads, be smart with the football, and, avoid getting sacked too many times because, he's been sacked a lot, and I know that they're probably going to dial up that blitz. So, next up, Johnny Dixon. Johnny Dixon didn't play a whole lot the second time we played them. He was kind of on a snap count. He was coming off injury. And, this is a guy that's going to be important. He's kind of our deep threat type guy. And, he was either second or third on the team in receiving yards. So, he's going to have to make plays. And I'll kind of talk about that a little bit more in a second. I think our defensive line, just because Magoo is so mobile, if we can actually get to him and bring him down and not allow him to run around and find dudes 20 yards downfield, it's going to be tough because he does rely on that stuff a lot. The ability to go off script and run around and find guys down the field and, just do those Mahomes type things. He relies on that a lot. And if we can, and he's already a little bit banged up too. So if we can get to him enough and, it'll wear him down. I'm not saying to try to injure him or anything. I'm saying if you get to him enough, you can kind of start to wear him down and maybe he'll be, a little bit forced to stay a little bit more in the pocket rather than being able to run away. So, I think that's really important. So I've got our defensive front, and I mean, we've got, Keontae Shad is second in the league in sacks, and Henri St. Amour is like third or fourth or fifth, somewhere in there. So we got a couple guys that can get to the quarterback. We send those weird exotic blitzes where we stunt and we toss in the extra linebacker, Diggs or Nandez every now and then. So if we can just get to him on that and hold the fort down on the back end, that'd be really nice. But anyway, Alex Magoo for Birmingham, I don't really have to say much. He's the MVP. So you guys already know. I just told you everything he does anyway. So CJ Marable is a guy who can, do things out of the backfield, but he can do things as a pure running back, but also out of the backfield. He catches those passes. He does have drop issues sometimes, and that could favor us. So we'll see how that goes. But Marable does, pose a threat not only in the run game, but also in the pass game. And then Darian Davis has kind of become, their number one wide receiver. I know that Sternberger is really their number one receiver, their number one target. But Davis has become their number one wide receiver. So, we got to keep him in check as well because he's a guy that can do explosive things for them. So those are the three guys that I've got for them, all offensive guys. Their defense is kind of just like they don't really have anybody that truly stands out, as that guy. Maybe Poling, but, I figured I would go with their top three offensive players. I probably should have had Stern, but, I mean, it is what it is. It's fine. All right, offensive keys to victory. Start fast. This is a team that plays offense. Birmingham, that is. They play offense. They put up points. And, so if we can start fast against them, maybe put them down early a little bit, have them playing come behind, kind of like Houston had to. I think that would be very beneficial. Limit turnovers is kind of part of the MBT thing. Also the Wes Hills thing, because he's had a problem with that stuff too. Don't give the ball away. Don't give them extra possessions because they already put up enough points as is. And you don't want to give them extra opportunities to put up points. So just be able to limit turnovers, hit shots. This is kind of where I got Johnny Dixon in there. And we saw it a little bit last week where Johnny Dixon had that wheel route and got that 30-yard touchdown. He also had one later on that was, I think, like a 20-something yard gain. If we can hit those double moves and those wheel routes and things like that to Johnny Dixon, man, that could be what opens the game for us. And I know that Flip is going to call those shots. I know he will. He's going to call up some shots. We just have to hit those shots. McLeod's got to connect. They got to be in rhythm. They got to be on the same page. We're going to need all we can get, man. Defensive keys. Look, it's, kind of similar to last week's. And so was the offenses. The offensive keys were a little bit similar, but the defensive keys are pretty much the same except for the first one. Sack Alex. It was kind of like what I was talking about earlier. Get to Alex Magoo. But earlier in the season, I said to harass him, which is still nice. But really, you got to bring him down. You can't let him run around for 20 seconds and throw the ball down the field and do that off-script stuff. You got to bring him down. You got to get to him and bring him down. Guys like Keontae Shad, we're going to need him. We're going to need Henri St. Amour. We're going to need Jordan Brailford too. He's kind of gotten back into being healthy and being active. So we're going to need him. No big plays. You can't allow big plays against this team, man. They'll beat you. It just can't happen. Forcing field goals against this team would be really nice because, they score a lot of touchdowns. Like, I think they scored the most in the league. So if we can hold them to field goals and, limit their points, I think we'd have a good shot of beating them. Now, as far as my playoff pick, I'm seeing the little Wi-Fi thing on my screen, so hopefully the feed is still solid. But anyway, playoff pick, before I put it on the screen, I kind of want to talk about it a little bit just because I always throw them up just because there's so many of them. But this one, it's playoffs, so there's only 2 games to pick, our game and the other game. So Pittsburgh and Michigan. Michigan somehow found a way to win last week. I really don't know how they did it, but EJ Perry got better as the game went on, kind of settled in. He showed flashes of why they got him as the starter instead of Josh Love, his ability to be mobile, to kind of do things a little bit off script himself. And I think had EJ Perry gotten maybe if he had come in maybe week 8, and would have gotten those last 3 games to kind of settle in fully, I would have probably picked Michigan. I think Michigan has holistically better weapons. I like Pittsburgh's weapons actually on offense, wide receiver wise at least, but Michigan's got better weapons and they've got the better passing attack. I probably would have picked Michigan in this game, but I think EJ Perry's just not there yet. I think the 1 game of reps was nice and he started to settle in, and I could be wrong. He could do some really good things in this game, but I just don't think he's had enough time against this Pittsburgh defense. They're really good, man. They're a really good defense, and I think these two, one of these teams will find a way to score 20, I guess. So I think Pittsburgh will somehow find their way in the championship. I think the USFL, look, I don't really like Houston, I don't, but I feel like it's kind of a travesty that they're not in the playoffs. And the other league had this same issue with a team being left out that probably shouldn't have been. Now, the gap isn't too crazy here, Houston was 5-5, Pittsburgh was 4-6, Michigan was 4-6, but I feel like if Houston, had beat Pittsburgh earlier this season, or for Houston to be left out when they're 5-5, and the majority of their losses are to a team that's 7-3. They got swept by a team that's 7-3, and actually three of their 5 losses are to the 2 teams with winning records. So, I feel like Houston should be in, and I hope that the league somehow finds a way to maybe fix this or address this somehow going into season 3. Because, again, I'm not saying Houston should be hosting a game. I feel like it would be fair for them to have to go travel up to Canton. You know what I mean? But I just don't – I don't know. I don't think 2 4-6 teams should get in, and then a 5-5 team, 2 5-5 teams should be sitting at home. Now, I'm not saying that Houston and Memphis should get in. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, one of those teams should be in this game over the 4-6 team. But that's just me. Anyway, enough rambling. This video is going a little bit longer than I thought it would, but that's fine. All right, our game. New Orleans and Birmingham, part 3. Like I said, the biggest rivalry in the league, man. Whoever wins this game is probably going to win a championship, but, you never know. Football's weird. Look, I think that New Orleans is a better team this year than they were last year, and I think Birmingham is not as good this year as they were last year. And I know they beat us earlier 24-20, but I think Johnny Dixon coming back has been good. I think our defense has really just stepped up. I think at our best, go look at the stats. New Orleans is top 4 in every category, offensively and defensively, pretty much, right? So, Birmingham is bottom 3 in every defensive category that I was able to see. So, if New Orleans can play that game, if their defense can live up to what they've done a good bit of this season, and if the offense can show up and you can get that, what you were getting a little bit ago in this season, I think they can beat this team. I do. And I think that a lot of the players on this team, the Diggs, the Nandez, Jay Adams, Johnny Dixon, the list goes on. They were there last year. They know what it's like to lose to this team again and again and again. They know. They want this one. I can feel it. I know they wanted it last year, but they want it this year. McLeod Bethel-Thompson's healthy. I think last year when we played them, Kyle Sloter had like the MCL sprain. He wasn't fully healthy. And I think McLeod's been playing some pretty darn good football. I know he only had like 88 yards against Memphis, but that was a really weird game. And he also didn't have to do much anyway, so we kind of ran the ball a lot. But McLeod's been balling these last couple games. The defense has been balling. I just feel it. And I could be wrong. We could lose this game, and I'll eat crow. It is what it is. I'll take my L and move on. But I just feel it. I feel like New Orleans can do this and get to the championship. They can get over the hump. I feel it. I feel it in my gut. But to do that, they're going to have to score probably at least 25 points because Birmingham's put up 24 on us both games. I know they scored 31, but really they had the extra point, they had the kickoff return touchdown, so really it was 24 points that they scored offensively. So they've scored 24 on us both games, so we're going to have to put up. So I'm going to go out and say that Matt Coughlin's going to hit a game winner, or we're going to get a game-winning touchdown to win this game. That's my prediction. I got us winning 27-24. I want this one so bad. I want a championship, man. I want to win a championship going into New Orleans, and I want to see Yeoman packed. That's what I want. That's what I want, man. So, well, hopefully next week I come on. I'll leave that on. Hopefully next week I come on here and we got to win. That's what I'm wanting, what I'm praying for. So, but until next time, Breaker Nation, it is your boy Leaux signing off. Go Blue Wave.